Hi everybody, this is Dr. Daulton from Hammond Chiropractic, and I wanted to make you a very special video today. I just attended a seminar this past weekend, and it was a different type of seminar that I usually attend, but I've had a lot of patients asking me what I learned, so I thought instead of me talking to everybody about it one-on-one, I would go ahead and just make a video for you guys, and hopefully you'll get something out of this. And I do love sharing this information with everybody, so sit tight, this is going to be a really good one. So the seminar that I attended, we actually call it a boot camp, and it's with this organization that I belong to, which, by the way, if you're a chiropractor, you should really look into this group. They're absolutely amazing. It's called Winner's Edge Chiropractic Consulting, and what they do is they do this seminar called a boot camp where you go there. I had to fly down to Minneapolis on Thursday, and we started class on Friday morning. You go from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, and you do that Friday and Saturday, and during that time frame, each day, you do two, I call them military-type boot camp workouts, all right? And I'm talking these things are intense. It's crazy. Now, you know I like to work out, right? Sometimes you can't tell because I always tell you I also enjoy my food too, okay? But I actually was really happy with myself. I did pretty good this year. I went last year also, and I didn't do as well. But it showed me what my weaknesses are and what I had to work on, so I trained differently this year for it, and I felt like I was a little bit more prepared for it. But you're probably sitting there wondering, why would you put yourself through that? That sounds ridiculous, right? Why would you voluntarily go and not just go for it, but pay to go to this thing for someone to beat you up and to work you out that hard, just for the purposes of, I don't know, what's the reason? Why are you doing this? And so the answer is, first of all, we have to understand that all physical training is mental training, all right? When you think about it, the brain will always quit long before your body will quit, no matter what type of exercise or activity it is that you're doing. So when you're pushing yourself at the gym or whatever you're doing, whether you're doing CrossFit, whether you're an athlete, it doesn't matter to me what it is that you're trying to accomplish physically, but when you're physically working your body, you are actually working your brain, because the whole goal of this was they wanted to push us so hard that we saw how mentally strong we could actually be. So you're not as likely to give up in a group setting like that. There was about 35, maybe 40 doctors. I'm not even sure how many were actually there. But you're not going to give up when you're doing this as a group, right? So it gives you the opportunity to see how strong you really are mentally. And that was the main purpose of doing these workouts at this seminar. Now, in between the workouts, of course, there were different classes and whatnot, but I want to talk about the physical portion of this because really that's what I think I can give you today that would be very beneficial for you in your life. So the first thing that we talked about was, of course, that all physical training is mental training. It's a very, very important part of, or it should be a very important part of your healthcare regimen. If you're trying to stay healthy or if you're trying to get healthy, exercise needs to be a part of your daily life, period. That's just the way that it is, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you have to go and you have to work as hard as what I just did this weekend. If you don't like that, that's okay. But do whatever it is that you enjoy doing physical activity-wise, and I'm telling you, it'll not only make you a healthier person, but it will make you a mentally stronger person, okay? Now, there's a few lessons that I get out of this type of activity, and I actually wrote myself some notes so I wouldn't forget for you here. But the first thing is, when you're in a situation like that, there's a few things that your brain is going through at that time, all right? So number one, I'm experiencing fear. I was so nervous before I went in that first day for that workout, and every workout after that, you're already getting more and more exhausted, so you're thinking in your head, can I even do this? And it's a scary, scary thing. You have to sit there and think, man, I'm scared to death about what he's about to put us through. And the question is, when you experience that fear, when you're afraid of something in life, what is it that you do? Do you run away from it? I could have easily left the seminar and said, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I've got to walk away at this point. But I didn't do that. So are you going to run away, or are you going to go ahead and face whatever challenge it is that you're afraid of and try to make yourself a better person by going through it? A lot of times, fear is just, it's a thought process that isn't even necessary. We're afraid of things that half the time won't even happen to us. And the other half of the time is that if something bad does happen to us that we're afraid of, it's for our benefit, or it's going to make you a better person because of it. So sometimes you've got to face that fear head on, and you've got to just go for it anyways. Just do it anyways, whatever it is that you're afraid of doing, because there's going to be some kind of a lesson in that activity for you. And at the end of it, most likely you're going to become a better person because you experienced that fear. All right? The next thing is, when you see a weakness in yourself, what is it that you do? How do you react to that? When I was doing these workouts at this boot camp, there were areas that I was doing okay on, but there were plenty of areas where I was weak. So, for example, there were certain exercises that I just could not do. Like, for example, they had this, and I don't know the name, by the way. if you're someone who is an athlete or you're a professional at this stuff and you're really good at this, you're going to start laughing at me now because I'm going to tell you, I don't know the names of any of these things that we were doing. I was just doing what I was told. That was pretty much it. So I'm going to explain what the exercise was, and then you'll probably know better than I am what this is. But basically, you get down like a frog, okay? You're on your hands and you're on your toes, but your knees are bent, so it's almost like you're going into a push-up. But then you kind of go into a push-up, and you're supposed to push yourself up and jump up off the floor. And I'm thinking, are you serious right now? This body was not made to fly, okay? It's not going to happen. But as I'm doing this exercise, I tried, I gave it my best shot, and I basically just ended up doing little push-ups there for the guy. But you know, when you see that you have a weakness, and that was a weakness for me, obviously. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the fitness level to be able to get myself up off the floor like they wanted us to do with this exercise. But now that I know that that's a weakness, there's a couple things I can do. I can say in my head, well, I'm never going to do that again, right? Because I'm weak at it. And a lot of times we let our egos get in the way of our success in life. A lot of times your ego says, well, I don't want to do that if I'm not going to be good at it. Or if I'm not going to be the best at this, then I'm not even going to try. You see, that's what the ego does because we don't want to feel bad about ourselves because we're not capable of doing something. I just had to sit there and laugh because honestly, I probably looked like an idiot trying to do some of these exercises. But with that, now what I recognize is that there's a weakness there that I needed to work on. So instead of running away from it or trying to avoid it, my plan is I'm going to keep trying to do that every week when I work out at the gym. I'm going to see if there comes a point where I can get some lift off of the ground, right? I'm going to see if I can fly. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime. I'll tell you that much. It probably won't happen for a while. But I'm going to put that into my routine so that I can get stronger and hopefully eventually be able to do that thing that I'm currently weak on, okay? So that's another lesson there. And think about this. You know, this isn't just about physical activity. This is about life in general. We have the same thoughts and the same feelings and the same fears and the same problems come up in life that we do in this setting that I'm talking about when you're having a hard workout, okay? So apply these lessons to your life. If you see a weakness in your life, don't run away with it. Face it. Think about what you have to do to become stronger in that area of your life, no matter what it is. I mean, it can be a relationship that you're in. It can be your financial life. It can be your physical life. Whatever it is that is a challenge for you or that is a weakness, don't ignore it just because you're afraid to face it because you don't want to feel like you're a loser at that point, okay? Deal with it. Try to figure out how am I going to become better at this area where I'm weak and try to keep working at it so that you do eventually overcome that problem, all right? The next thing is failure. How about when you have a failure in life? What is it that you do at that point? You know, there was another exercise that he was trying to have us do, and I say trying because this was a horrible one for me. But you have a mat on the ground, and you basically sit down on the mat, you lay back, and you have to bring your legs all the way back over your head, and your toes have to touch the mat behind you, and then you bring your legs up, your feet hit the ground, and then you have to jump up off the ground into the air. And I'm looking at the guy like, are you serious? Like, you really think I'm going to be able to do that? So basically, I just kind of rolled around a little bit. No, it was terrible. But I did my best, but let me tell you, I was not able to do it. Well, in that situation, what I felt like was, I'm a failure at this, right? I'm not able to do this. So what is it that you do when you experience failure in life? You know, once again, do you run away with it? Do you face it? Do you try to become better at whatever it is that you currently just failed at? What that showed me was that I had another weakness again, and the fact that I wasn't flexible enough to bring my body back into that position. It just wasn't going to happen. There was no way. And I wasn't strong enough to bring myself from the floor up off the ground and jump all the way up, all right? So what it shows me is that I could have said to myself, you know what, I failed at that. I'm never going to try to do this again. But instead what I'm looking at it as is now I've got some areas that I know I need to improve upon and to work on, and that's what I'm going to start focusing on to try to do better next year, okay? So think about that. When you're going through life and you start to face things that are challenging to you that you don't think you're going to make it through or that you don't think that you can handle, stop and think to yourself, okay, I can either run away from this, or what can I do to face the challenge ahead of me and make sure that I'm a success for it, even if I fail? Because remember, failure is just a way for you to learn where you need to improve upon. You don't have to look at it as the end of the world, because it's not the end of the world. You know, people fail all the time. It happens to all of us. The question is, what are you going to do when you do fail? Are you going to get back up and keep trying and make sure that you finally get that thing, you know, figured out, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? Or are you going to let it beat you down and make you quit? Because that's when you really fail, is when you don't get back up and try again. All right? That's all I have to say for you. There was a ton more that I learned at this seminar, but I felt like that information was important enough for you as my patients or as my followers, whatever it is that you're following me for or listening to these videos for. I felt like that was important enough for me to share with you, something that you can apply to your daily life, that you can get some benefit from it and hopefully have a better life at the end of the day. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for paying attention to me during this video. I hope you found that information useful, and I'll see you on the next one.